welcome Phyllis.
Hello.
Phyllis is going to be one of 56 authors at the Festival of Books and Creativity that's at the end of June in Novi, Michigan. Phyllis has some books that she will have there. Can you tell us about those books, the titles, and what they're all about?
Sure. The first one that I had published last year is Trenzas, and there's a copy of it. Put you in the camera, see where it goes. I also have a large print that I had
Oh.
because I had a request for it from my aunt actually, and so um, I uh, I published it originally from through Elite Publishing,
Mhm.
and then when I asked about a large print, the cost was out of my league. So I started doing some research on formatting my own interiors, and so I came
Ah.
across a program that was recommended. I put out some feelers, and writer
Mhm.
friends sent me information, and I'm using a program called Atticus.
Ah,
And so
okay.
I did my own internal for the large print, and once I did that, the my writer friends started telling me that if you're going to do that, you're going to publish it under your own, then you should create a publishing company.
Yep.
So it's published under Segway Publishing, which is my publishing company.
Awesome.
And it took, I don't know how long and how many different researching different names. They're all taken
Oh, yeah, that's always the fun part.
until my friend and I had a friend who was helping me do it. We came upon Segway Publishing, and that's what we ended up sticking on. So my books are published under Segway now. Uh,
Nice.
and it gives me a freedom to be able to publish something that I want that's personal or that I don't have to put money into because I'm doing my own formatting and stuff. And then I use KDP and Amazon.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's been really helpful. Um, it's a testament that you can teach old dog new tricks because I had to do the tutorials a few times before I went, huh? To get it just right is
Mhm.
yeah. So that's what one of the things I've been doing. So Trenzas, both of them are under Segway Publishing, and Trenzas is a fictional novel, but it's based on true experiences.
Okay.
So and I took notes so I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say about it. Um, the main character is a newlywed, and she gets married. She moves with her new husband to his state where he's from, and that's where
Mhm.
she meets his family for the first time. And when she meets his mentor and uncle and the man that he's going to be working for, um, she starts. He looks familiar, and she starts having some issues with memories. And through a therapist, she realizes that he, someone, she doesn't know if it's him,
Mhm.
um, molested her as a child.
Oh, wow.
And so as her memory starts coming back more and more and her suspicions grow, she's torn between telling her husband, her new family, um, and it's a serious allegation, so she wants to be
Mhm.
100% sure. Um, the story walks her through all of the events that happened to her when she was younger and how she deals with it as an adult woman. Um,
Oh, okay.
and that was what I wanted to write about. So
Mhm.
um, the specifics about what happens to sexual abuse people is different, but the scars are the same. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
one of the reasons that I didn't want to write my story in particular was to protect the innocent. So I
Yeah.
decided to write it as a fiction novel and talk about what the emotional experiences are. It's also a book about healing and how you
Mhm.
get through it, how you as an adult, it's such a different way of processing it because you are an adult trying to process it as a child and you can't. And so it's just a really different experience to have, and the same for I've talked to so many people who have gone through similar experiences, and how families keep it secret, how
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
generational issue, and that's where it really hits on that it's nobody talks, everybody, it's it's the secret everybody knows. And so that's what the book is about. This is um sounds kind of dark, but it's a journey about how she heals and how
Mhm.
she she allows God to help her heal and get through the things that she needs to get through.
That is awesome.
So
S
go ahead.
So, what other book do you have more than just Trenzas, or do you what other book titles do you have?
So the one I published this year is a small devotional, and it's camera's gonna get me here. Praying for the hard ones, the ones you would rather smack.
Ah,
And
so many people are gonna want that book. That is a great title.
and so it's 11 short devotionals, a walk that walked me through. It started out as a challenge that I thought would be a one and done. And it turned out to be 11 chapters of reflection and 14 months of lessons to learn, and and just being getting over being my right to be offended, um, accepting that when I surrender things, um, and surrender my justified right to be angry, because
Mhm.
we have rights to be angry, but
Yeah.
it's to do with those feelings that really are detrimental for ourselves as much.
Mhm.
The other person probably doesn't even think about it, and they own
Yeah.
us. So and you hear about that all the time, but this was just a journey that the Lord walked me through on being able to sincerely pray for people that I would rather smack. It was, yeah, it was, like I said, I wanted it to be a one and done, and it wasn't. It took me through over a year to write the little devotional. So that's the other one I'll have with me for the book festival.
That is so awesome in that you take a topic that is so real and so needed, because right now, I think with the politics in
Mm-hmm.
the US, that politicians, and it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you sit on,
Mm-hmm.
the opposite side is really living rent free in people's brains
Yes.
right now. I mean, I heard that term and I'm like, "Oh, yes, they
Mm-hmm.
are taking up so much space." And I think that book is so very needed at this time in our political climate.
And they are, it's, you can go from somebody who cuts you off and you
Mhm.
cuss them out to, well, okay, you don't know what's going on in that situation, or just why get upset? It doesn't make any sense to, like
Mhm.
you said, for them to own a piece of our mind, a piece of our brain. And to people who have really betrayed us that we trusted, and to people we don't know, but like our politicians
Yeah,
that
they have
we, yeah,
no idea who
that
we
are
are.
on the political opposite. We should be praying for them. We should be,
Mhm.
yes, we should be praying for our country as a whole. And no, we tend to put ourselves on one side or the other, and everything over on our side's good and everything over on the other side is bad, and that's not true. And so it's and even if you don't agree, when you don't agree, that is when the devotional comes into play, because
Mhm.
it's easy to pray for people we agree with, or people
Oh,
that
yeah.
we care about and we love. But
Mhm.
it's that going that other mile that, what do you mean? They don't deserve this. Well, neither do I. So
Well,
yeah.
and that's the thing is that I think we really look at people and go, "Oh, well, they don't deserve to be prayed
Mhm.
for." And it's like, "Ooh, you might want to turn that back around and look at yourself." And it's like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, it was definitely a big mirror to look in when I was writing it, and I thought, "Really?" I think by the 5th or 6th, chapter, I remember putting it down and saying, "I'm not doing this anymore." Every time I come with a topic, I have
mhm."
to learn a lesson. I'm not doing this anymore. So, but,
So, and that makes it even better is that you learned just as much
mm,
writing it as everybody is going to be reading it and doing the devotional. I mean, that's, you know, to know how much it impacted you as well. I mean, that's fabulous.
yeah. So that, yeah, I'll have those 2 with me. Yep. Mhm.
So, what else do you plan on writing?
I'm in the middle of writing the same thing I was writing last year. I keep going back and forth with it. It it started out as a story about my grandmother, but it's turned memoirish
Okay.
in that I don't know her whole story because I wasn't there and all that, and so it's hard to write about a person that it's just I'm not her. And
Mhm.
but what struck me so much about her was a lot of the stories that she told me were just so fabulous, and so that's what I wanted to write. So I started writing about the stories that she told me. And
Ah.
as I'm writing the stories that she told me, they intertwine with other people, like my parents,
Mhm.
and so I'm going, okay, so this isn't just about her. It's how she interacted even with these other people. That's part of her story. So it's
Hmm.
started to be a little memoirish. It's taken on kind of a same um design, or the way it's been going put together as I don't know if you ever heard of Sandra Cisneros.
Mhm.
Okay. So her one of the things I really liked about her books was how short her little chapters were, and they
Mhm.
were almost disconnected. They didn't tell the story through. They were about people, but the people and the stories were connected. And
Mhm.
as I started writing this and in that direction, where I'm just going to go where it takes me. I'm not making any more plans anymore. Um, that, and that's not the way I do things. So it was strange. um that's where it's taken me, is that this story about here, the story about here, and then when I go back and do rewrites, they are all connecting, but they're not chronological, and that's the part that
Mm.
I was struggling with, is that I wanted them chronological, and they
Oh,
really
okay.
can't be, because they're about people, not about a time. And
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, that's I'm hoping to have that done by the time we get together in June.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. and yeah, so I am hoping to have that done. I don't know what the title will be, because originally it was stories my granny told me,
Okay.
and now it's really stories that my grandparents and my parents told me. So I'm
Okay.
working on that title. But yeah.
You could go a lot of different ways with the title for that one.
Yes, yes, it could. And we came from a very dysfunctional um group. So the stories are kind of shocking at sometimes, and sometimes they're shocking enough to laugh at. I'm going, what, how did that happen? So
What
yeah.
were we thinking?
Yes, uh-huh, exactly. Yes. So yeah. So that's what I'm working on now. I will also be speaking on a podcast June 7th.
Ooh.
I was recommended by my critique group to share the backstory of Trenzas.
Ah,
So it's a Dare to Share My Story podcast, a woman event on June 7th.
nice. That'll be
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that one.
So you mentioned that this with this current project that you're on with the short stories that they're just coming in and it's not like an outline and they're not chronological. So you normally work with an outline?
I don't normally work with an outline, but I tend to write chronologically.
Okay.
I have a d- I I like schedules and I like notes
Mhm.
and I like order. And so
Mhm.
that's what's kind of been throwing me off with it, that there's no order to it. It's when I finish ending one chapter, it prompts a person more than what happened next.
Okay.
So I'll start writing about that person, and that could go back a couple of years before I even wrote the chapter before, or it could go even farther into the future because it's about that person, not what happened next, really.
Okay.
So yeah.
So do you have any more books in the works and are they what genres are you looking to write in?
Um, I wrote one that I needs to be uh, a rewrite, but it's basically finished. Women's fiction.
Hmm.
Um, and It's a story about a young woman who discovers that her father, who she thought had passed away, is still alive.
Oh.
And so sh how she goes about navigating that and contacting him. Um, and then I started one that's I stopped to work on the one from about my grandmother is about cousins who go to clean out their aunt's cottage and find hidden paintings behind portraits hanging on her wall.
Oh.
And so they and she worked in a museum, so now they're wondering, are they stolen or what?
Why? Why are they behind that other
Yeah.
one?
So yeah. So there's that one. Um and that was kind of a spin-off of the one about the woman and the father, because what I had started it with was a series of stories that you find something that triggers you to go on a journey.
Mhm.
In the first one, she finds a letter in her father's military uniform that her mother had kept. And that's how she discovers her father. And the second one, they find the painting hidden behind
Mhm.
the other painting. And so, yeah. And then the third one was after his wife dies, he finds in a cup inside the kitchen cupboard way up high, a motel key.
Oh.
So, so it was a series of three that I
Hmm.
just haven't finished putting the pieces together on it. Mhm.
So it looks like we got quite a bit to expect from you in the future.
If I
Yay.
as I get to them, yes.
Yeah, no publishing date.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, the one is done. It needs to be rewritten.
Okay.
And the other two, they're one is started and one is just an idea. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. So I notice in your background you have a whole bunch of what are those
Lanterns.
yes.
Those were my husband's. Um, he collected everything, anything and everything. and he would do estate sale, not estate sales, vintage sales, and he would go to antique sales with my daughter Samantha. And
Mhm.
um, one of the things that caught his eye was the lanterns, but he always had them in bins in the garage, and he would take them to the shows. And
Mhm.
um, one of our granddaughters, Katie, had asked if she could use his lanterns for her wedding, and he said, "Sure, sure you
Oh.
can." And so he had passed away before then. And so
Mhm.
she came and asked me. I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, we got to go dig them out. I don't know. I don't know what's out there." So we dug them out and we cleaned them up, and she used them at her wedding. She had an outdoor wedding. And
Ooh.
that's when I realized, wow, those are beautiful. So when I brought them back, I cleared off the shelves in here and put them up there instead of putting them back in the bins in the garage. So,
Well, that's awesome. Those
mhm.
they are very pretty sitting up
Mhm.
there, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing what we put away in boxes and then all of a sudden dig out one day and it's like, "Ooh." It's like hidden treasures within our own
Mhm.
places.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah.
So, what do you like to do with your spare time when you're not writing?
Um, I like to cook. I love to cook.
Mhm.
And my granddaughter, who's in college, her family moved to Texas, and she wanted to stay back and finish college here, so she moved in with me. So she's my roommate, and
Ah.
she likes to cook and try different recipes. So we'll cook together. So I do like to cook. Mhm.
Well, that is awesome. I am looking forward to seeing you again in person at the end of June. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to share with us about your books.
Oh, I appreciate it. Um, it gives me an opportunity to get information out there. It's as an indie writer, you know that it's hard to do any kind
Mhm.
of marketing and stuff. So we appreciate that you do the interviews, and it gives us something to post on our pages and on our social media stuff. And so I appreciate that you take the time to do this.
Well, thank you. And I will see you in June.
Okay, see you. Take care.